Well, let's see. I guess we're live.
We're live?
It says in broadcast, so that means we must be broadcasting.
Looks like it.
So, excellent. Scott and I are back. We're on the day the Queen died, and
I was going to say, in the words of the Sex Pistols, long live the Queen.
yeah. Bollocks. Yep. Nah, I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine
Long live
Lyndon
the
would be
Queen.
very sentimental about it all, right about now.
Yes.
Since he's a big one for realizing the whole place has gone to hell, and maybe he's part of it. I don't know. At least he seemed to be making excuses for some of that behavior. Vermilion. So, how was your day? I'll say that before you ask me how mine was.
Oh, my day was fine. Did I talk? I don't know if I told you. I don't know if I knew last week. I think I did, but I don't know if I told you. Michelle's work may be being sold.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I knew that you guys. Oh, well, now I'm not sure. Go ahead and update me totally on
the engineering firm my wife works for is negotiating with another company to buy them out, which she's a little nervous about, obviously.
Well, that's always a nervy thing.
You know how that goes. That happened to you, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it's happened a couple of times. Yeah, I've been around a couple of transitions like that. It's an interesting thing. Like you say, you realize that one of the things you realize is that they're always looking to say, okay, now we need to get this place optimized, and so people get the axe. And sometimes, those axes seem unfair, but it happens.
Yeah, they're trying to make it work. Well. Yeah. And I don't want to comment too much about my wife's work, but I think she's going to be okay. I mean, you never know.
Probably. I was going to say probably a good idea. I don't know. Yeah,
no. I mean, let's put it this way. At this point, they're like she said, everything they're saying is good. So.
Oh yeah.
But that's probably every situation too. It's probably given one of these things though, where some of the partners at the firm that she's at, it may be a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
My question would be: is it one of these things where? Okay, my question is it one of these things where there's just 2 or 3 people get very, very wealthy out of it, and they just leave? They're no longer on the scene, or not?
Well, the owners will come out pretty good. There's 4 or 5 of them.
And will they kind of will they split? Will they no longer be interested in or even wanted?
No. The plan is to keep operating, because the reason why they're buying them is they want. I don't want to get too specific, but they want some of the expertise and some of the business that this place has.
Sure.
And the particular market that they're looking to get into, the company can't get into it because they don't have the manpower. There's only 12 people in it. This company's a huge company. They got offices all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't get into this market because they don't have experience, and it's not a market that you can just break into easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to leverage their experience. They want to come along and go, we can use our capital to reach out and do bigger jobs in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And your experience at working in this industry, but on a larger scale. So, I mean, it may be a good thing. I think, well, like I said, given the age of some of the people, because she's right under a lot of them in age-wise, and given the age, it might be a good thing. Plus, they had offices in other cities, and Michelle feels kind of pigeonholed by what she's doing.
Oh yeah,
I mean, she would like to do other kind of jobs.
You guys may be off and running here in terms of like some other place you want to be.
Well, they have a branch in Orlando, so I mean, you know, I mean, my goal in life is to move to Florida and retire, or when I
There you
retire.
go, man.
Of course, the problem is with as long as my mom is, that would have to be after mom passes, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't want to
Right.
leave her here,
Mm-hmm. Take her with you.
I want to move. Yeah, I'll move to Celebration with Woo.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you're still watching Woo. We've become great Woo fans in this household.
Well, you know what? I haven't been seeing much of him lately. What's he? Is he totally off Disney now? Is he is he
No, no, no.
burned
He
out, or
no.
is he
Oh
back at
no,
it?
no, 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 no. He lives in Celebration, which is the
Oh
town that was
yeah,
started by Disney,
yeah. Hop, skip, and a
and
jump.
and yeah, it's right there, and it's and to see his videos, you're like, holy cow, this guy's living the life, because he'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna get up this morning and I'm gonna go ride the Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever,
Yeah,
and he still travels a lot. In fact, he's in California right now. Well, he's in California renewing his annual pass at Disneyland.
yeah.
I don't know how he does that without
They
having
give,
a house there, but
well, that's interesting. Yeah, well, he had that apartment a long time, which he decided was something he couldn't afford, and he got out of the lease on
yeah.
that. So it sounds like I've been keeping up with every bit of him, but that's all kind of old news compared to what I assume he's been up to. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, yeah. No. But anyway, so and we've been crazy at work, busy. Good grief, we're not supposed to be this busy this time of year. And I took off a couple days I took off a day for Labor Day. And I just come back to this massive pile of work. We just got caught up from my previous vacation,
Mhm.
and we get all this work. And I had a guy that was out today. There's three artists, me and two other artists, and I had a guy that was out today for a funeral. And I mean, we're just getting killed. Me and another guy stayed until an hour late last night. I worked I worked. I mean, when I say worked, I mean on the clock. I was on the clock 10 hours and 45 minutes yesterday. I mean, I know that's
Wow.
not much in video game terms, but for
Well,
for
no,
what I
it's a
do,
lot in
that's
anybody's
crazy.
terms. In terms of like ready for something else by the end of 6 hours. I mean, that's
Oh
work is
yeah,
where you'd rather be doing something else. Usually, most cases.
yeah, yeah. Usually, in most cases, I mean, I like my job. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
we can't seem to catch up is the problem. I came in and we had 79 orders on our log, and then when I left, there were 87 orders on our log. So in the course of the day, instead of moving forward and knocking that down, we got behind by 8.
Yeah,
It's like crap. I mean, if it stayed steady, that'd be one thing, but
yeah.
anyway.
It's like
But we'll get through it. I mean, the work comes in waves. And so usually what happens is we get to a point and it kind of slows down and then we catch up with it, you know. That's my hope. That's what I'm telling everybody. That's what I'm telling myself. Anyway, dude, this is the last page of this comic.
excellent. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look like it's going to. Looks like you're going to have to start drawing something else if you're going to fill your evening with drawing.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so so did you I want to show you this page. I don't know if you saw this page. I don't know if you can see. I need to
Yeah.
zoom. I don't know how to hang on. Let me try and move this camera up a little bit. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I'm gonna adjust my camera. Sorry, it's gonna get dizzy for a second.
You getting dizzy?
Okay. No, I mean so this is page 9.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of text here, so I didn't put any background right there. There's not near as much text. I thought that last page that last panel looked really good.
Oh yeah. 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 Got it
There's a
all.
there's a goofy joke. The guy's name is Bart Mann, and he's got a bat on his thing, and they're like, Batman, he's Batman, and I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Let me show you the whole thing.
Okay, yeah. Unreal.
I've been dying all day. Okay, so this, I'll kind of scroll through this or zoom through this. So here is page 1. So this is a bank. Whoever letters it is going to put something on that sign about bank. And so he's kind of watching through the window, through skylight. I mean,
skylight. What? Oh,
okay.
Good.
That's page 1. Okay. Here's page 2. Now I redid this first panel, so it's taped on. I kind of messed with the something about the fight scene I didn't like.
Oh yeah. Cool. Oh my. Yeah.
And so this guy's like, hey, don't mess with us or whatever. And then here's this panel. It's a warehouse. Now this is the one. This panel got a little, or this page got a little goofy because the Daredevil is writing in this notebook, and then he's like, I don't even have pages. I don't even have pockets in this thing, and he throws it over his shoulder. Anyway, he's kind of following this girl. She's going in. He's watching her from the skylight. I like that panel. I thought that panel came out pretty good.
Yeah. Anytime you pull off a
skylight,
cool vantage.
So then she's going through the warehouse. She gets spotlighted. And then it's the dude, Mr. Batman, with his 2 henchmen. And they're talking. They're telling her, you suck, or whatever.
Well, are you going to be the one doing all the rest of it? All the
You know what I'm going to do? When I
do?
finish this, I'm going to scan it. I'm going to email it to him, and I'm going to say, good luck.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, I'm not planning on. I don't know what they have planned. I'm just going to tell them, hey, here's the pencils. If you like it, feel free to use it. All I ask is you give me credit.
Yeah. I mean, gratis work. That is all you. You beyond what you need to do to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not. Now they've asked me. Can you hear me? Sorry, one of my headphones fell out. Can you hear me?
That's all right. Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Okay.
There's something going on.
So this is page 7. So here's the thing. He jumps through the skylight, but I guess he's don't tell him, but I don't know how the guy wouldn't have heard him come through the skylight. So that seems a little weird. Anyway, whacks her he swings at her, misses, then he whacks her in the back.
Liver shot.
Then he whacks Daredevil in the stomach. Then he clubs him in the head. And then they're
another
talking.
Liver shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Anyway, so then Daredevil slugs him and grabs the cane. Poop. Oh, I got too many pages on my desk. And then we're page 9, and they're on the roof, and they're talking, and that's when they figure out his name is Batman. The pacing, I think, is a little weird for my personal taste. They don't follow the Ellis rule of you got to have you want some action on every page.
Or conflict.
I think I did.
But I think you managed to have
service
pretty much
in the story and.
I think you've had conflict on every page, just about.
What?
I think you've had conflict on every page, just about. Look like it.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I'm about done with it, and I'm going to scan it. You almost ended up a night of watching me do scans, but I wasn't quite done with it, and it was late, and so I was like, I'll scan it tomorrow. or I'll finish it tomorrow. Figured
I'm pretty sure I don't even have to
podcast.
ask you this, but I would like details of it. You probably had these Tucker onion burgers down there close to where your wife works, right? Or not?
Do what? What about?
Tucker onion burgers. Have you had those?
I don't think so, but I think there is one around there.
Oh yeah, apparently it's been there for ages. So it amazes me that there's anything around there that you guys haven't eaten at, because I know you take off pretty often on Friday and go have lunch. So yeah, it's right down there on 23rd.
Yeah, well, you know,
straight down from where she works. From
really?
23rd. Yeah, it apparently is very famous. Does very well. Has a big client. Go ahead. How did I hear about it?
Oh, how'd you happen to come across this?
Okay, I was wondering what the long pause was. I sounded like you wanted to say something, and I wasn't giving you room or something. I came across it just by typing in onion burger OKC because I was curious if this one guy that had been cooking onion burgers back when I was working at Opubco had stayed in the business. And
gosh.
And I believe he has. So we're talking about dating back to the early 80s or something like that. And that onion burger, when I tasted it, I said, this is going to stay popular, I think. This is tasty. So I was just curious if it was around, and apparently it's enough of a franchise. I believe there's about 4 stores here in the city. But I was going to check that. Yeah, I was going to check that one out on 23rd and see what the verdict was, see how good it was.
Well, I am planning on going downtown after I get off work tomorrow. So.
Oh, really? You want to eat an onion burger?
I'm not crazy about onions, but I'll do a burger.
Okay, well.
I can usually talk them into making me one without onions.
You may get thrown out, suggesting don't put any onions on my burger.
My onion burger.
What? Maybe the version of the soup Nazi.
My
burger for you.
My experience has been my money is green.
Yeah, that's right. Sure.
You know.
Yep.
We last Monday we went to the Cowboy Hall of Fame, and I hadn't been there in a while. We took my mom.
What was there that was special? Anything?
Nothing. Well, they finished this whole kids thing, kind of a little Indian, or kind of a little Western town outside, and it's got Indian residences of different styles out there. Mom hadn't been there in a while, so I still have a pass. So I said, hey, well, the big thing was I was trying to find something for Michelle and I to do, because I told her since I'd taken off Thursday and Friday that I would hang out with her on Monday, and so that's what we did on Monday. And I called Mom's. Yeah.
Speaking of Indians and how they live, the Canadians have a pretty huge Indian population themselves, and they have that that brother team. I don't know there may have been just one that was completely unhinged, and the brother was along almost like being coerced, or who knows, but they went on a stabbing spree and just.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that.
And the final guy was captured, I think, still a little bit alive, but apparently he had been stabbed enough himself, and it's probably self-inflicted. I think I read that he died, but I was just so yeah, that's basically their version of a reservation up there, and it was from a very small little community, and he just flipped out and decided to stab everybody he could.
Mm.
Obviously but that's the deal. You
I'm
don't get
convinced that
you don't get the
people's mental
details.
health is.
Oh man,
I'm convinced that people's mental health is on the edge.
it's getting so bad
You
right
know?
now. Yep. Yeah, we've got social media that's talking to people that have things going on in their head anyway that they ought to not have going on in their heads. That it's just reinforcing it, and it's a shaky time, and with all the extra stress of the way things are being run into the ground, it's perilous times out there. I think about it out
yeah.
all the time when I'm walking at the park. I say, man, you could splat me about any way you wanted to from any sort of vantage point. Pick it, out there in the big yonder of a big park like that.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing that I heard about today, they were talking about that woman that was killed, that jogger that was killed.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually people are going to rise up and go, "Good grief, we cannot live like this."
Yeah, but the fix for it is putting people in jail that at this point have become such what do you call it? A protected group,
class.
A protected class. Right now, the only thing that you can't even say it out loud, that if you had just more black people of a certain type, in other words, people with experience at being in jail and kept them there, you would be saving a lot of innocent life if that's all you did.
Well,
people that you probably were born to hang, if you just kept them away from the rest of the populace, you would save lives. And that's been a basic
quite
thing.
That far.
No, you would save lives.
That's a little. Apparently the guy that, and I have no idea of any kind of makeup of this this monster that killed this jogger, but apparently he I guess he killed somebody before and he got in jail for 3 years. And we've come through this thing where people say, well, the system is not fair to whatever, disadvantaged people, however you want to define that. And so disadvantaged people cannot be held responsible for their crimes or don't. And so we've become very soft on criminals in this country. And that, man, if you don't think that'll make more criminals, you're crazy. We've got to get.
I mean, New York is just hopping.
I'm not saying innocent people need to be in. Oh yeah. Well, that's why I'm not going to Comic-Con this year. One of the reasons. There wasn't enough lure with my comic. Not necessarily with no guarantee that my comic would be out or available to sell. I was like, I don't know if I want to go to New York City. It's just too much, Well, Michelle's
it's
best
all
friend
about
lives
randomness
in a nice neighborhood right by where her apartment's right next to John Lennon's apartment. It's next to the Dakota. Right off the Central Park, very desirable, Upper West Side. And somebody was knifed on an old lady, 79-year-old lady was knifed on the sidewalk right in front of her apartment.
There is nothing that says more in terms of like inviting. There's nothing that says more to invite, what ordinarily you might be instantly jumped on for being racist by using the word, but these are predators. They see somebody weak and they almost can't help themselves. They say, you know what, my foot could be upside your head so quick, and then they get to it. And that sort of behavior has got to be rewarded. with
Yep.
with sticking them in jail, saying, "Till you can change that behavior,
But
or for
that's
that matter, here's your punishment for that behavior." And then that has to
well,
get
and
around. That has to get around. Did you hear what happened to Lucy?
we've got
What?
well, we've got a lot of DAs. If you, I was
Yeah, yeah.
watching a thing on the news about it. We have a large number of DAs that have been that were financed. Their campaigns were financed by George Soros. No,
Yeah.
whatever anybody out there thinks about it. And as a result of that, he is supporting them because they're soft on crime.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had a deal in Oklahoma where they wanted to release nonviolent offenders, but the problem is a lot of times they'll classify a violent offender as a nonviolent offender by the time it gets through the court system.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah. It'll be plea bargain down that he's no longer.
it'll plead down to something that's not. Yeah, and but what I can't figure out is why anyone would be in this camp of I'm soft on crime. Why does George Soros, other than just to cause, which I think he wants to cause chaos, by the way. I mean,
Oh yeah, he does.
I think, boy, I'm going to say something that might get me in hot water. I don't know if we have any listen or not. I think that a lot of I'm going to say people, and by that I mean I don't mean. I'm trying to think how you classify them. Not necessarily liberals. We'll call them the activist class, and you can
Mm-hmm.
define that however you want to. But I think a lot of the activist class is just primarily interested in watching stuff burn. I don't mean necessarily literally, but certainly literally in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we saw that. And it's not that they care about anything; they just want to tear down. And I mean, I think it's an evil thing. I mean, literally, like
Mm-hmm.
a straight up. If you'll call it a satanic thing, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an evil thing, and I think one of the ways that it manifests itself is, or one of the things is, these people, this activist class of these, as I'll call them, evil people. They cannot stand truth and they cannot stand beauty, and their idea is there's no truth and there's no beauty. And if you look at some of the art that is celebrated,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, an example that I would use of this was, there's this new Lord of the Rings show out, and whatever you think, I haven't watched it, so I'm not going to comment on its merits, except to say that one of the actors on it said, that was Tolkien's story, but we're telling our story, so our story is better than Tolkien's story.
Yeah.
And now it may be, but how do you go into something that is supposedly based off the Lord of the Rings and say my story is better than Tolkien's story? And it's just this idea that what went before has to be tore down, and whether what we're making is good or not or whatever. And I mean, I saw it in museums in New York City. They would go into the museums and they would demand that these paintings that they made be hung up. And you see it. I think it's evident in modern art, in a lot of modern art, and I think in art has been going on for a long time, by the way. But it's this idea that we want to destroy truth and beauty,
Mm-hmm.
and so, I mean, good grief, I think we see it in comic books now.
Sure.
How do you look at some of the comic books out now and say, oh, this book with these scribbles, are this is worthy of, this is as good as like a Neil Adams or a Jack Kirby,
Mm-hmm.
or better, not worthy, better. Oh, there's the back of my head.
Well,
And I
talking
just,
about some of that in terms of, like, because I'm with you totally. It is it's on purpose. It is a degradation that is very much thought through, and it is aimed really as much at, like you say, the status quo. Anything that is of
Yeah.
before is to be, uprooted and changed, just based on that. It's
Right.
like, what, you used to do that? Well, that's crap. If you used to do it, it's crap. And so,
Yeah. This is terrible.
it is just based on being in a camp, being in a tribe, and and that's how you go. That's everything you do is based on that thinking. It's like, what are you for? Because that's what I'm against.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
Mm-hmm.
pretty well navigate with that. But and obviously I'm just as triggered by just about hearing certain names. I say, well, what is dummy? What does dummy think now? Because I'm sure I'm against it. You know.
Well, and that's the and I think, well, okay, so some people would say, oh, we got to be on guard on that. And I think we do, but I think we also have to,
No,
our
it's
our
probably
our standard should, we should have a ruler that is different than just us and them. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue our standard would be truth. Our standard is beauty. Your standard should be. I mean, that's what, if you seek after truth and beauty, but people don't want to. People will tell you, well, there's no truth. But then when you
Or
quiz them,
yeah,
it's their truth. They believe in their truth.
yeah.
They won't. There's no room for your truth, because your truth is founded in something that they can't abide. You know.
Okay, I'll give you a beauty problem here. I just finished
Yeah.
off Sandman. Now, that
Yeah.
had a variety of artists doing all 72 of those issues. These are, and
Mm-hmm.
by the way, I really have enjoyed reading them. Obviously, I did if I stuck with all 72
Yeah.
of them. But one of my, I guess I'll just go ahead and declare him my favorite artist. What do you think of for that series? Because I never much liked him before. What do you think of Mark Hempel? As in terms of like, does he satisfy
Well,
that
I've never read
that?
Sandman,
Okay,
and I know the name, but I don't know enough about him to have an opinion.
well, if you were to encounter this style in Sandman, I think it would be something you'd almost automatically react to, to saying, "Oh my goodness, this guy." Compared to everybody else, the way they've been drawing Sandman and how it's been executed, this guy's hardly even, checking
Oh
in.
yeah.
Because it's all very symbolic and graphic, very graphic. In terms of like saying, okay, this is a symbol for
Oh yeah.
somebody's face, and that sort of thing is. It was, to me, it was just perfect for, and it's a huge long stretch of how it ends in the last issues. He takes on a big arc
Oh yeah.
in the story. So he's around for quite a while, and I decided he's pretty much my favorite. I just said, man, and the guys that I think did Sandman the least good were the guys who tried their best to be Bernie Wrightson. And
Oh really? Well.
yeah, the guys with the good detail and shading and all that, they tended to be. So in other words, from project to project, you might have a notion about how what makes what. Oh, here's Wim. Wim has checked in and said howdy.
Hey.
Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. You look up Mark Hempel.
Yeah.
And,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
Yeah.
tell me, because I think I will write an email to all you guys telling my experience with Sandman in terms of like what I liked, what I didn't. Go ahead
Well,
and write something on it.
I can't look him up now because my look it up thing is.
Oh, no, that's all right.
My phone is what I'm recording on, so.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I'll look him up. I think I've read something he's done.
Well, he's done like this big Viking
So
epic and all. That's all I know about him. I haven't read much of his stuff. But anyway, in terms of beauty, a guy might be repulsed by that. He might say, "Oh, this guy, he's not. He doesn't do the work," you know.
yeah, I've been reading Dave Mazzucchelli's adaptation of the City of Glass. Have you read City of Glass by
Who's that?
Paul
Who's?
Auster?
I don't guess
Paul
so.
Auster. Oh, it's okay. So Paul Auster, it's Auster. He wrote a trilogy called the New. I think it's called the New York Trilogy. And Dave Mazzucchelli and somebody else did an adaptation of the first issue, or the first book in the trilogy. The other ones never got adapted, but the first one did, and it's kind of interesting. I picked it up when we were out of town. I like Dave Mazzucchelli's art. As a kid, he's one of those guys I didn't like that much as a kid, but I like him. I appreciate him as an adult.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. These sensibilities that change for very good reason. Obviously, I mean, when you're a kid, you're going to be responding to stuff you don't even know why
Yeah, I
you're
tend to like.
responding to it. And later on, it's like, there's that guy I hated. I love his stuff now.
Yeah. Oh, I like a lot of the Bronze Age stuff that I guarantee I didn't like as a kid because
Oh yeah,
it wasn't
sure.
as flashy as like a John Byrne or something.
Oh yeah, it's
And it's
like
not that I don't
when,
like
when
John Byrne anymore, but you look, you tend kids tend to gravitate to the flashy stuff.
sure Steranko's using up a lot of the air and the oxygen in the room when he's on the scene. It's like, ooh, I
Yeah.
can pick up this Steranko, or I can pick up this guy.
This
Oh, I
John
think I'll pick up the
Buscema.
Steranko. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, yeah. Some of that it makes some of that other stuff look a little old fashioned,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. But then I think like I've got an appreciation for that. Well, I've got that Spider-Man book that's drawn by Bushima and it's inked by Jim Mooney, and it's awesome.
Mhm.
You know, Sorry, I'm going through and proofing my pages.
Oh, that's all right. No, that's
Well,
that's the best thing to do is say, okay, I've got this in front of me. What do I like? What do I not
yeah, I'm
like?
kind of looking. I erased some when I was looking at it, and I went through before on the camera. I noticed on this panel I thought I had too many lines on her face. She had some. I need to
Oh,
kind of pretty her up a little bit, not much,
oh,
but
I wonder if I can flip it horizontally. Let's see if it's got some sort of weird option. No, I don't see anything like that. Oh, wait a
wait,
second.
wait. Are you trying to
No,
flip it like that?
well, if you were to flip it as in, no,
Oh,
I'm talking about completely flipped across the
oh,
vertical plane.
mirror it, mirror it.
Mirror it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sometimes that'll do the trick.
Oh yeah. It'll.
What I've noticed is if I look at it like if I photograph it and look at it on a phone, sometimes I guess it's a different scale. Sometimes
Yeah.
some of the little things come out like, I should have done that a little bit
Well,
different.
yeah. The moment you look at something in thumbnail form and you realize, well, it's kind of an unsightly blob. You realize, well, getting bigger doesn't improve it. And sometimes if something doesn't work as a little thumbnail, it's like, oh, well, I've got to get in there and reposition this. And it's usually so simple that the rule is you've got to have contrast. And if you decided something needed detail, right in the
At
same,
the wrong spot.
right in the wrong spot, and it's conflicting with what you mainly want it to be focused on. It's like it's an easy fix, but for some reason you couldn't see it.
Yep, yep, it happens
Yeah.
occasionally. One thing I have, this has been a good project for me. I feel like I've learned a lot working on it.
Well,
You
yeah. I
know,
mean, you know, there's no pressure. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
dig in and
exactly.
say, hey, I mean,
Hey, I
you're
have my
you're you're
assignment.
ch- you're channeling a certain period too. That's kind of fun to say, hey, you remember comic books that used to be a big popular thing back in the day? This now public domain character is represents. Yeah,
Yes. I felt like it needed a little black right there, so I'm going to put some shade on that
you're like me.
on top of this.
You're trying to. I've got my cheap Walmart watercolors out, and I'm dabbing here with a little color on top of my usual loose, goofy sketches, seeing if I can get anything. I've already been disappointed with the fact I'm not getting cool opaque white from my white, which is cool. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I just had to discover it
oh,
that it wasn't going to happen.
so we were at what was the name of the place? Tuesday Morning, which sells like it's kind of like a Ross or something. They sell closeout stuff,
Hmm.
and they had this on their shelf.
Oh yeah,
It's 4 ounces of white. Dude, I paid $2 for this. I use it all the time for different, just for if
just
I'm inking,
touch
I
up.
touch it up, or
I'm gonna have some
I
good
mean,
touch up around here somewhere.
and it just said, and I got this stuff. This is, I forget the name of this, but it's all dried up. I need to put
Hmm.
water in it and see if I can get it to come back to life. I may not even be able to get it open. Oh yeah, I can get it open.
If you can
Yeah,
get it
but you
open,
can
you can get
see it's
water
kind
in
of.
it. Just let it soak in, and it'll come back to life.
Yeah, I forget what this stuff is called. Somehow my label's missing, but I got
It's got
when
what
I
they
was
call
inking, I used.
mucilage. Mucilage is in it. The stuff that's in rubber
Yeah.
cement to make it.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
it, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Thick. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean I've
Or what it is
accumulated.
ground up cows or horses. I don't know
Uh,
which
oh yeah.
be the case.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
As a matter of fact, I think specifically, I think it's their hooves is where mucilage comes from.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I mean you gotta do something when they die.
I don't know why I know that.
I mean,
Yeah.
how
Well, when
you
they
know that or
die,
why you know that?
when they're murdered. Yeah. So, sorry, I decided to
I'm
go
sure it's
dark
all
there.
when they're natural death.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't. I'm not weird and think that animals aren't always going to be butchered and cleaned and eaten.
Or if not by us, by something.
No, it's the natural thing. For as long as we last, you wonder how long we're going to last. There's always a chance. You've got to know though. At this point, it's pretty clear that there is among the upper ranks. There is talk about thinning us out. Everything is all about controlling us at this point. It's like,
Oh yeah.
no, you should not be doing that much of this. It's like control
Oh
yourself. You
yeah.
don't need to be
How
doing
how
that.
else? Why else? Why else would they be doing what they're doing to the electric grid in California?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
electric grid is so overworked, and they're like, nope, you cannot buy gas. Every car must plug into this overworked electric grid.
It's
You know,
completely
this.
insane that you could have something like California that if it has anything like that happen to where it falls short, that goes to like, why is this? This is a space age state. Do not
Oh
tell me
yeah.
you cannot solve this. Whatever needs to be done, solve it. And instead, it's like, no, we have to look to you, our little puppets out there, and
Yeah.
you have to quit doing this or that for things to work again.
Well,
You know,
it's just like I don't know if you saw the governor's speech the other day or his little warning or whatever about don't turn your thermostats up. And
Yeah.
it's like, don't run your air conditioning. He's wearing this fleece coat, so obviously where he's at, they're just blowing the air full blast.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I know people like that. I know someone specifically who's from California, and every time I see this person, they're wearing a hoodie, and I don't care if it's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they wear it inside,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, why are you not dressed for the well? It's because they're blasting the AC and
Yeah.
irregardless. I'm not. Why would I dress for the weather? And I'm not even talking about. I'm just saying, don't wear this extra layer of clothing.
Yeah.
How cold do you keep it in your house that you need to wear a hoodie in the middle of the summer when it's 100 degrees outside?
Yeah.
What are you doing exactly? You know,
I tell you what,
crazy.
fashion is
But yeah,
incredibly important to people,
yeah.
I guess.
Well, I mean, you say that about like, oh, California's a space age state, but I don't have the love for California that you do. I'm pretty cynical about them, and I look at it and I go, they've put up with so much crap for so long that I'm
Yeah.
not convinced that they'll ever change as a
No.
state. People might leave,
No.
get fed up and leave. I like that page.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Every little thing that went down on that page was thought through and everything like that. It's the
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
hoping.
it
And
resides
see
somewhere in your head now. That's great in terms of like what you
the
can do and what you.
so my plan is next next couple days I'm gonna scan all this and kind of clean it up as much as I can and darken it and I'm gonna send it to them and say, here's my pencils. You guys can do whatever you want to do with them. You don't owe me any money. Um, you know, Here, go, with my blessing, take this. All I ask is give me credit, and if it ever gets
Mhm.
published, please let me know when and where, and if you want to send me some copies, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
But my thing is, just whatever they do with it is fine. And I don't know if I'm going to use it for something. But so I had an epiphany. Um, I don't know if Fly Fox Pro is listening. I think I talked about this last week, but when we were at town, I had an epiphany because somebody had posted things. Oh, we're looking for an artist. I need some of your samples. And I was looking. I go, I don't really have anything I'm happy with. you know, and it's because I think I want to say it's because I've gotten better and I haven't put anything down on. And I like this. I think this is really good. I have some problems with the script though.
You know what
And so
is a
that's what
big problem. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I just no. No, you go ahead. I was done.
Well, one of the big things about not having anything you like is that one of the main reasons for that, of course, is that if you show somebody something, it's like you're saying, "This is what you can expect of me," and
Yeah.
you might look at it and you say, I don't want to tell anybody that's what I'm going to do the next time I work on something. It's not going to look like that,
Well, I think I want it to look better.
Sure, yeah, better, but you might also have
I mean, is it?
a stylistic bent you've got in mind that all of a sudden is occurring to you that it's like, no, I've got to go this way on anything I do in the future because I didn't have it figured out.
Well, I have thought about that a little bit too. That's always been my big things like, oh, style,
Mhm.
and yeah, and I don't know if I've answered that question yet either.
No, yeah, that's a rough one. I've decided. Did I already say this once? Style is just, if you wanted an easy definition of it, style is being on model. So if you come up with your own, if you do the brain work of saying of what you want your style to be, how you want fingers to look, and whether they're blunt and typically kind of geometric or whatever, and just go down the list of typically what an animator would have as the his little, what do you call it, his style sheet, his model sheet. And if you're on model, of course, people hate,
Model sheet.
Model sheet. And of course, John Kay, was a big one for not being on model. The guy that did Ren and Stimpy, or he bristled at the idea of being on model because he wanted to be able to break the rules for a couple hundred frames here and there, And,
Oh yeah.
And so that's what Ren and Stimpy kind of visually represents, him getting in there and saying, this is what happens if you're on model 80% of the time, and the other time you're having fun,
Yeah.
But he's still on model. He's still following lots of his rules. In terms of like the look of the character.
Yeah, I could see that.
But this would apply for a comic book. You could say, okay, I did something like that when I very deliberately, for my Bounty of Zone Z comic book, I was trying to ape Mignola as best I could. And that's why I was so impressed when I saw Doug's attempted aping Mignola in his what was that? what was it? Oh yeah, it was one in one of his. No, it was his one of his Bigfoot Bill things. He dropped in a page that was obviously just straight up Mignola, and he did it very well.
Oh,
so you gotta take some notes before you start in and figure out what you're up to on something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you seen anything that got you to sit still for an hour's worth of it? My attention span, man, you're doing great to catch me for an hour anymore.
So I'm watching. I watched the latest Matrix again. I watched it when we first got HBO Max. I watched it again. Have you seen it?
The latest Matrix? No, I have not seen the one where they're kind of like tongue in cheek about it all, aren't they?
Well, not. I don't know. They try and So the conceit of it, well, one, they had way too many flashbacks in there. Mm-hmm. I thought that was because every time you see a flashback, it takes you out of the narrative.
Yeah,
flashbacks are terrible in movies unless they're absolute have to be, or it's something done like Pulp Fiction where it's kind of woven into the narrative. But so the conceit is that Neo is not in the Matrix, or he's in the real world, and he's a game designer, and the Matrix 1, 2, and 3 were all games, and he's in love with this girl at the coffee shop who's Trinity, and she's married with kids, and he's had a mental breakdown, and he's under this illusion that the Matrix games are based on reality. The problem is they don't play it straight. You know that this is a trick. From jump, they never try and convince you that that's really what's happening. I think it would have been better if that was what was happening. Flip the whole thing on its head and say, yeah, this guy really is insane. Why?
Oh yeah, you know what? I kind of
completely different.
I seem to remember that now, and the moment I heard it, I heard that kind of plot, it's like, oh yeah, well that's Cronenberg's existence. It's spelled with a Z.
Oh, is that what the?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, what are we seeing? Are we, because, that's how you start the thing. Everybody puts on the headphones, and you're not sure when you stepped away from being in the real world and started playing the game, that sort of thing. Very, very,
Yeah,
very Philip K. Dick stuff. And
yeah, they should have leaned into that more. I thought
mhm,
if they would have had an awesome movie, I think, or it could have
mhm.
been, and they waited way too long for there to be any kind of kung fu or conflict. So if you're gonna go that long and bore people, at least make them interested.
Mhm.
You know, show Neo getting mugged and maybe trying to do some kung fu and just falling on his ass.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And where people go, well, what's going on? Because he
Mhm.
was this superhero, and they kind of lean that way, but the way they did it, you saw the people in the real world watching him, so you knew that he was not real what they were showing you, and
Mhm. Yeah, that would be
it
deadly.
completely
That would be deadly. Yeah.
it completely failed, and they kept showing flashbacks, and they should have played it straight. In fact, I would argue that because of how poorly the last two were received, they could have gone a completely different direction and showed Neo and show that all this Matrix stuff was Neo's crazy dream, and there's something completely different going on.
Yeah.
Show it, and
Is
they
that on Prime? Can I watch it for free?
no, it's on HBO Max.
Oh,
But do you have
good.
HBO Max through? Do you have But you have an AT&T phone, don't you? Or you don't?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I have
if you have
Sprint.
AT&T, oh, okay. If you have AT&T, you have HBO Max for free, or at least you do for now. I don't know if you will in perpetuity, but uh,
Perpetuity.
yeah, that may go away one time. So I watched that, and I decided it's just a turd of a movie. I don't know if I even finished it, but I watched
Oh,
more. I understood it more than I did the first time I watched it. I did that last Friday, and then I've been watching. Did you ever watch True Blood?
True Blood. What is who's in it? No, I haven't. I'm sure I
Oh,
haven't.
I don't even. Oh, I don't even. It's about vampires in Louisiana. It's.
No, I
I
don't
don't
think I've
know.
seen
I
it.
need to find
I
some.
I usually
I need to find something
reject.
better to watch.
I usually reject.
Vampires.
Yeah, vampire superhero movies just don't move me as a general rule.
Well, it's. I don't know what you'd call it. I don't. It's odd. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep watching it or not. That's about it. The new Elvis movie is on HBO Max, but we haven't watched it yet. I told Michelle we have to watch it, but um,
Is that the one with
that's
Tom
about
Hanks? Tom Hanks is Colonel Parker. That'd be kind of interesting.
maybe
Yeah.
probably it's the one that just came out. So
Yeah.
whatever that is,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
don't
I
know who
saw
plays
I
Elvis.
saw lots of. Oh, I've started kind of in a general way. I've decided the way I'm going to do things with this project. It's going to be called "Remember That Bill." I'm going to go back over because I've already compiled them. I've already done a lot of the hard work. I dug in and got all the movies, the ads for the era I'm talking about when I was a
Yeah.
65 to 69, the movies that came out, I'm going to go down memory lane on my memories of them and why they were important to me. It's going to be my version of Trailers from Hell.
Are you gonna
And if
do
you,
you're gonna do videos, right?
oh yeah, 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 I'm going to edit and have fun doing that kind of stuff. And I've already started to the extent that I've made little film clips out of things, and that's how I'm going to work. I'm going to say, okay, just chuck all this in, make a film clip, and then later on, you've got them all just like you make a movie. You get all your film
Yeah.
clips in a line, and then start thinking about, okay, now I got to edit all this stuff, and end up using
Yeah.
10% of what you have made. And I'm doing it Ken Burns style mostly. I'm worried about doing it where I use actual video clips. I figure I'm almost entitled to use anything on the internet I find as a still, I would think. And of course,
I would think so.
no sound or anything like that, because that's the main thing. They jump on you just
Yeah,
automatically.
definitely no music.
No music.
Definitely no music. Unfortunately.
Hey, we've been at it exactly an hour.
Okay, I'm done drawing. I'm through drawing. I'm through
Yeah,
drawing
I mean,
comics.
groovy, Scott. I'm
this
really
may be
impressed.
the last comic I ever draw. If I don't find,
No,
well,
no,
I'm
no.
gonna draw. I'm still gonna work on my. I've got that project. I called it Project X, but it's. I think my final thing is gonna be 77 or 76 or whatever. But it's gonna be a Bronze Age style comic. I'll probably, I drew that last year. I drew what I drew of it last year. I'll probably retool it a little bit and do that, because I thought that was a pretty cool I like the idea behind it. My execution was a little lacking in terms of the story. I need to nail down the story a little bit better. I've got all the parts there. I need to rethink some stuff though, but I want to do that.
You know what the potential for public domain is? And if a guy was to, Wim says, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, Wim. I guess you just had us on to
thanks.
keep company. The potential for public domain, you can copy down, you could take one of their stories and just do it over again, saying, now what you're going to get is my art with your goofy story. You could take those.
Yeah, you can, can't you?
I would assume there's no writer saying, hey, you can't, shove me out of this. I wrote that. Yeah, you can. It's public domain.
Yeah.
And that might be a good way for people that say, I can't write. Well, don't write it. Come along and take this old chestnut with this old character. And like you could take that guy, that thing that you just got finished doing, dig into it and say, hey, I kind of dug this. Let me look at one of their stories verbatim and see what I think about it. I may just do that.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. I have, I don't think I have it up here. Oh, yeah, I do. I have this book. And I have a book downstairs called Crawford's Encyclopedia of Comics, but I have this. I don't know if you ever read this.
Oh, Jules Pfeiffer. Yeah, I mean, he was head of. That's one of the first books on anything like a nerdy topic.
I bought this new when I was a kid, man.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the first things.
Now, I can't obviously.
It predates Steranko going to town on his big opus.
Oh yeah.
What did Steranko call his big opus?
Well, the problem is all this is DC stuff.
Yeah.
The History of Comics.
Yeah, just the History
Volume 1, Volume 2.
Yep.
Oh, this may be all DC stuff and Marvel stuff. Yeah, okay, I won't get anything out of here. But I have another book. I have other books, and that you can find this stuff online.
Sure.
That's a pretty good idea, Ellis.
Oh yeah, I mean,
find me a Golden Age character.
A Golden Age character where they're just killing stories. You never know. I mean, what's her name? Highsmith, Patricia Highsmith, that wrote Strangers on a Train, used to write comic books. You never know what you might run across as far as a little gem saying, hey man, this might be fun to just completely re-envision. And you never know, you might connect with an audience on that sort of stuff, because it's kind of
if nothing else, it'd be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, it would, in terms of like saying, I'll never do another comic book again. Guy could dig in and do a million different comics.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess
I was being sarcastic about that.
I know you were. Okay, I guess we're winding down, huh, Scott? Oh, did I kind of committed this? So you're willing to eat a burger with me tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. If you want to meet me downtown, we can meet.
I'll come. I'll come down. Do you want to
Michelle,
walk that far in the opposite direction of what you're used to walking? Because we're talking about 10 blocks going to 23rd. Oh, do you want to
yeah, I
drive?
can do that. I can do
Okay,
that. Hang on.
that's it. Go ahead.
Let's see what we're. Hang on just a second, Ellis.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle, I'm downstairs. I'm talking to my wife.
Okay.
Ellis is going to meet me tomorrow. We should not park in your parking lot.
Uh-oh. Owners. New owners.
Oh, so we can park in your parking lot? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to check. Well, they don't own it yet. So,
Okay. Are we doing it? What
yeah,
time?
if you want to, yeah. Let's make it 10. Let's make it a quarter till 11.
Okay. I'll be there.
I'll leave my work about 10:15.
I'll write myself a note. Okay.
Bring your phone.
10:45.
10:45. Bring your phone, and I will call you if there's a problem.
All righty.
There shouldn't be a problem.
I'll do it.
Anyway, okay, sounds good. I can't wait, man. We hadn't hung out in a while.
No, it's been a while. Okay. In broadcast.
Yep. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.